Drinking Bros. Put down the water and grab a fucking drink.
Sounds empty in here.
Does it?
Yeah.
Does it sound empty?
I feel a little pressure right now. Yeah, it's just me.
Why? You shouldn't feel any pressure. Look, Jimmy John's Jared is not next to you. He's not sweating on you. He's got no sandwiches dripping on your legs, ruining your jeans. There's no France press dabbling all over your shirt. He's not dabbing it on your shirt, I should say.
Yeah.
Matt Best isn't there to judge you.
No, he's still not here.
He's not like a stern father figure. So you can say what you want and be who you want tonight. Welcome to Drinkin Bros, ladies and gentlemen.
Drinkin Bros.
Tonight it is just me and Rocco. We've got a sweet one-on-one sesh.
Yeah.
Jared is having a baby. He's got a daughter on the way, so he's at the hospital doing important stuff.
Yep. Congratulations to
Mr.
him.
Matt Best is a world traveler. He's got a lot of shit going on. He's doing some stuff with Black Rifle Coffee,
In Range
which
15.
happens to be one of our sponsors,
Yep.
on and off, all night. And tonight, as always, you know who it is, ladies and gentlemen. We've talked about this before, but we're going to talk about it again because it's just that fucking awesome. It's Carnivore Club. It's pretty goddamn simple.
Oh, yeah.
You pull out your wallet, you give them some money, they send you a box of incredible meat to you every single month. Rocco, you got some a couple days ago.
Oh, yeah.
How was it?
Dude, it's amazing. Honestly, I eat the box in one day, and I can't help it because I open it, I start getting the salami, and then I start eating the next meat, and it's just I finish a box in a day every fucking time.
Yeah, you're like a 10th grader in high school. You eat the box in one sitting.
Yeah, I think
it.
they need a lumberjack box. It's like twice the size for twice the man, you know?
Oh, I like that a lot. If that goes on sale, you better be getting 10%. Speaking of 10%, you can get 10% off your box on carnivoreclub.co by typing in the promo code Drinkin Bros. You get 10% off your first order. You just have to pull out your credit card, type in carnivoreclub.co into your computer, and join the Carnivore Club for the best meat you've ever tasted in your entire life. That's carnivoreclub.co with the promo code Drinkin Bros to get 10% off. Our next sponsor is it's a little premium ammunition. It's proudly made and manufactured in Texas. It's called Tartarus Ordnance. If that's a mouthful, it is. But it's also named after Greek mythology about people who kill other people. It's about hell. It's Tartarus Ordnance. When you need home defense ammunition, you go there. And as I like to say, they should call it, if I wish a motherfucker would. I wish a motherfucker would step into my house so I could use it and blow somebody away.
They need that for their marketing.
Yeah, they really do. They need a Samuel Jackson face on it, or somebody dangerous like a Rick Ross, or
fuck, that'd be great.
Like a Rick Ross on your shirt, and then it says Tartarus Ordnance underneath. They're a proud supporter of the Semper Fi Fund, so every purchase they give 10% to the Semper Fi Fund. You can also use the promo code Drinkin Bros on their site as well, and you get 10% off all of their shit, all of their ammunition. You get 10% off of it.
Awesome, man.
And you know what the next one is, Rocco. It's a whiskey.
Of course.
You happen to be an owner of it. You make it. You drink it. You love it. You pour it all over your wife when things get weird.
She's gonna get embarrassed about that. It's funny though.
It's called Lead Slingers. It's a gift from the gods.
Oh, yeah.
It's if Vietnam vets cut open their veins and poured it into a bottle. It's that American.
It's so fucking manly.
It's that fucking American.
Oh, yeah. It's spread throughout Texas right now too. It's all over fucking Texas. It's amazing.
God, we love lead slingers on the show. It's very rare when your best friends own a great whiskey company that you're like, oh shit, I'd like to have some of your best whiskey, sir.
Yeah.
And it's like, great, I own that company. How many would you like?
Oh, we're proud of it, man. We definitely are proud of it. It's great.
I love it. And last but not least, you know this book.
Oh, it's the best.
Oh boy, it's almost as if a man with 4 arms wrote it.
Yes.
It's that talented. You can fuck to it. You can make love to it. You can finger to it. It's called At Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed, the first ever romance novel for dudes, written by the great, the brilliant, the impeccable, the unpenetrable Ross Patterson. One of the most gifted storytellers of our generation. I'm not saying this, but people around the world are.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, Ross. Like, the book is good. The book is fucking funny, man, and that's just an honest freaking compliment. Like, it's really a good book. It's funny as fuck, dude. I bought it. I read
appreciate it.
and then I also audiobooked it just so I can hear it again. And dude, hearing it is fucking awesome. And who is it that's the voice in the audiobook?
Oh man, it's another young man by the name of Ross Patterson, another talented actor, comedian.
Oh, God, I love it.
Yeah, and then but on the audiobook, which is on audible.com, there's a bunch of actors who do it, so you're not listening to a boring audiobook. You're listening to it from St. James Street James himself and a team of fine actors, and it's the book's available on Amazon and everywhere other bookstore except for Walmart. It was banned in Walmart because of the nudity in it. Shit gets wild in it. But, yeah, you can buy At Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed on Amazon now or Audible. However you prefer to ingest it, it is there for you. Tonight is one of my favorite nights, Rocco. I'm glad it's just the two of us tonight.
Wow.
I am. I'll tell you why. I got to see you speak at Raider Project a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you were one of the best public speakers I've heard in a while.
Wow.
And the way you interact with people, the way you touch people when you speak to them, it's pretty fucking phenomenal. And I'd kind of like to just take tonight to touch on your life story.
Oof. Awesome, man. Crazy.
So obviously your name is Vincent Vargas. You got the loving name Rocco.
Yeah.
Through Jared and them. But tell the audience where you're from, because you have a crazy life story.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I grew up in San Fernando Valley. I was born in Northridge, actually, but grew up in San Fernando Valley. That's California. That's Southern California. And pretty much all around Sepulveda Boulevard is really where my stomping grounds would be. I grew up in a nice little suburb town, and I don't know.
You're like a Tom Petty song.
Yeah, it's actually Reseda Boulevard is pretty close to us, so that's funny. Yeah, no, my father, he's originally from New York. He's a Puerto Rican man from New York, and then he moved to L.A. around 13. He grew up in around East L.A. area. Got involved in gangs at a young age.
Really? What gang?
Echo Park was his little gang, man.
No shit.
Yeah.
Echo Park is like gentrified now. It's white.
Yeah, well, it's one of the older ones.
Very white,
man.
very hipstery now.
Is it? Is Echo Park itself, right? Not the gang. Not the gang. The gang is still gangster as hell, but the town you're saying.
But it's the town of Echo Park. Like, the houses are going for $700,000 there.
Wow,
so it's hard to be a gangster in Echo Park these days.
Yeah,
I'm dead serious.
I guess so.
Dead
That's
serious.
Funny.
There was a liquor store. One of my best friends lived in Echo Park, and he said he just bought a house there. And I was the same thing as you. I was like, oh shit, there's a lot of gangs there. He's like, oh no, it's totally changed now.
That's good.
So the only time I saw gang-ish type members was outside the liquor store. The rest of it was total hipster. Starbucks. There's amazing restaurants and bars there now. Like, you would not recognize Echo Park.
Wow, that's cool. I haven't been back there in so long, actually. The only time I've ever driven through Echo Park in like recent years was just going to a Dodger game, and that's like, I really don't get to see it. You kind of just drive on by. So that's cool.
Yeah. You drive down Sunset and see it and all that stuff. And so you grew up there, and how long were you there for? How long were you?
I think I left there around 19 years old. Like, I played. Probably around 20, actually, is when I actually took off. I played some junior college baseball down there at Valley College one season, and then I went to Glendale Community College. I got in a little bit of trouble, and so I went up north and played for a summer for the Chico Sticks, which is in Chico, California. Had a blast there. It was fun, man, just hanging out with a bunch of buddies. There's 5 of us living in a house off 6th and Oak next to the zoo. If anyone's local, they'll know exactly where that's at. And my buddies played for Chico State, and I was trying to get onto the team there, but just by coincidence of a summer league, just doing really well, I got picked up for a team in Kentucky. So I went to Brush University in Kentucky, became academically ineligible eventually, and that's what started my path towards the military. I tried out for a couple independent pro teams like the Evansville Otters and the Richmond Roosters and the what else? Was it the several other little ones, but just kept getting cut, and so that's when I decided to go full on military. And
full on military. So let me ask you this: coming from all the way from California to Kentucky, was it a big culture shock? Did you like it down there?
yeah, dude, I loved it. I mean, I grew up, you know what it is out there, Ross, where if you grew up in LA, most people don't ever want to leave LA. They kind of feel like LA is a focal point of the world, and so I too was
Absolutely.
I too was like that. You know, I thought like there's nothing better than LA for life, all that stuff. But when I went to Kentucky, it was actually Chico was the first place that kind of opened my eyes to, man, the whole world out there. And then when I got to Kentucky, it was beautiful, man. Just green, just the greenery alone, the trees and the grass everywhere was awesome to see. But the people, real nice. The culture out there was so different. You know, seeing a Hispanic man speak perfect English, almost like a California dude, threw them off, man. Most of the Mexicans they've seen out there are actually Mexican nationals, and they were kind of migrant workers. And so I was like a fish out of water there, man. They kind of identified me right away as like, who is this dude? And plus I had the tattoo, plus the tattoos. It was kind of a, man, yeah.
So you had all those tattoos back then?
Not all of
even
them.
at 19?
I just started my sleeves actually. I started one, the flame, the outline of the flame, and then I got another one, the other arm, which was supposed to be again water, and it looks more like seaweed or some shit. But yeah. So I had those done, and then I kind of just kept going slowly with that. So I kind of stood out in the crowd in my group of friends, and I was always just known as just I stood out, man. I was always just kind of a little bit different than everybody.
That's cool. So you're how old when you joined the military?
I was 23 years old.
23.
Yeah, I had my daughter, and she was, I was going back and forth to L.A. to see her, and me and her mother wasn't together at the time, so I was just kind of doing my best to be a dad. But once I decided to join the military, it was really for her I had to, support her and have money and hopefully, insurance. I just kind of really did it for her. I had nothing else going on for myself. And playing baseball my whole life from 4 to fucking 23, it's really the only thing I thought I was good at. So after that kind of ends, you kind of lost, and you really sit there thinking like, wow, this war's going on, let's do it. And I told the guys at that seminar was I didn't want to, my dad was military, I wanted to make him proud, and so I joined on that account. I joined also so I can support my daughter, and also, you see the war on TV. I didn't want to be a guy 40 years from now, and I didn't have the same stories as these other dudes. I wanted to have these war stories. I kind of wanted to see it face to face and close up. So I decided to go for it, man.
Sure. And how was your experience there? Like, did you love it? Was it one of the best times of your life? Do you miss it?
Yeah, man. I think everyone kind of sees it very similar. It was the most exciting time of my life. Some of the scariest moments of my life. Some of the most exciting, like I said. Some of the best friends I've ever met in my entire life. I was happy to walk away from it. I also miss it every fucking day. Like, it'd be cool to go back and kicking doors and do the missions and training just fun alone. But at the same time, I was happy I got away from it when I did. Still healthy enough to continue on with life and achieve, future goals and missions, man. But at the time, I didn't want to walk away, man. I was ready to enlist for another 4 years and try and go, hopefully, other routes, whether it was going towards Delta. I wanted to do the best Ranger competition, like all these things I had dreams of doing. But, by that point, I already had 3 kids, and I was gone so much of their lives. My ex-wife at the time said, she's gonna, she was ready to walk away from the marriage just because I was gone so much if I stayed in. So I decided to walk away and just try other things. So eventually she left me anyways. That's always how it works. I've talked to so many dudes, and it's like, yeah, my wife said she was gonna leave and I got out. Then she fucking left me anyways. I'm like, yeah, dude, everyone has that story, it seems like.
Yeah, you're like, fuck, I could have stayed,
Yeah.
God damn it.
No, but it's for the best for the kids, man. It was the best decision I made was to get out. But don't get me wrong, the transition was fucking difficult. Every day I was, for months and months and still years. And there's sometimes, even today, I think like, man, it'd be great to go back active and just fucking live that life.
Yeah, and that's I'd love to hear about that, about your transition of coming back, how old you were, the difficulties you faced doing it, and then kind of touch on how you got involved with Article 15. So how old were you when you left?
So I got in 23. I think I got out around 27, 28. Dude, and I think everyone around 27, 28 kind of sits there and looks at their life and is like, kind of identifies like, man, this is not where I expected I was going to be. When I thought I was going to be at 28. But
Yeah, 28 is one of those weird ages where, as a kid in high school, because that you're coming up on your 10-year reunion at that point.
right, and you're coming up on
And
30, man.
Yeah. And you start to think to yourself, because you look around and friends may have better cars, better jobs, better lives. And, if you're still trying to figure it out at that age and don't know what you want or what you want to do, and especially for you transitioning out of the Army into you probably don't know what your next job is going to be at that
dude.
point, correct?
Yeah, I already applied for. I had a job lined up. It was a corrections officer. I started off with selling medical supplies with Cintas and just driving around to fucking buildings and filling up their medical fucking kits, which is a miserable job, but it did pay the bills at the time. But I got in with the corrections, private corrections with a company called CCA. And which they paid well, man. They paid like $21 at the time, which is fucking huge compared to any other job that I had lined up.
Yeah.
And so that
hey, look, it's still a lot to this day. $21
yeah, it's actually that's what I'm saying. Trust me, that job saved my ass, man, because I did that and it was good because I stayed busy and stayed active. But I was still going through a lot of transitional stuff where dealing with things that whether sleep issues and drinking issues and fuck, that fear of missing out, that FOMO they call it or whatever it is, man.
Yeah.
I get calls from the guys that come back from deployments and things I missed, and it just fucking drove me nuts, man. And every day I thought about going back active and calling the recruiter, and you just miss it, man. It's this weird deal where, you get out and you're just never sure if you're going to be able to be successful, and just realizing how easy the lifestyle is of the military where, dude, you're getting paid so much, and not so much, but I'm saying you're getting paid BAH, BES, separation pay, you're getting medical insurance, you're getting all these amenities that you don't get when you get out. And then you start to realize, like, fuck, man, I'm broke as fuck. I got 3 kids, and my wife has to stay home. My ex-wife had to stay home to watch the kids because they were so small. It didn't make sense getting a babysitter because you're just paying the same amount as what she would make if she was working a part-time, full-time job, anyways. So you just feel so fucking backed in a corner, man. Like, you wasted 4 years. You got out and you're in the same position you were when you got in, because I was an infantry dude, man, and I got out and thinking an Army Ranger would be well respected in the civilian world. Like, no one really gave a shit, dude. Like no one really does give a shit. It's like, cool, you're an Army Ranger. You're still in the same position you were 4 years ago with no real skill to the fucking civilian world. So what are you gonna do now? And so corrections was cool, but fuck, what an empty feeling of like, wow, I wasted 4 years fighting for this country, thinking I was going to get out and people were going to give me fucking high fives and hugs and fucking throw me into the corporate world and make a shit ton of money because they respected me, but that's not what happens. And I was stupid to even think that was what happened, right? You get out with this ego thinking fucking people are going to respect me, but most of the time people just thought I was a fucking park ranger. It's like,
right.
they don't fucking know, right? They don't get it. And it's not for them to get, I can't.
No, and I imagine there's probably a stereotype that comes with it where you think one thing going into a job interview, like, oh man, dude, I just did the most impossible job in the world and everybody's going to thank me for it. Whereas, they look at that on a resume and they don't understand what the initials and the periods stand for.
Right, man.
Oh, you were a SGT of the PT of, oh, that's great. What will you do? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, cool, you shaved and you wore a tie. All right, that's good enough. You're like every other dude that shows up here because no one gives a fuck about your goddamn resume, man. Dude, it's heartbreaking. It's a heartbreaking thing, man.
It has to be, right?
Yeah,
like that's got to be one of the worst feelings in the world.
Dude, because like just doing what I did, for me, it was one of the biggest challenges of my life, man. Just getting through RIP, getting through Ranger School, getting through deployments, trying to be successful in a field where it's a challenge, man. And getting out and just kind of knowing, wow, no one really gave a fuck. Whoa, like that's the hardest thing to hit, man. And then putting you in the same category as everyone else that served, which at that time, it was hard for me to understand because I had the infantry pride as like an infantryman is an infantryman, and everyone else is fucking support. Now, so much I'm grown up and I don't have that ego and I understand exactly like, everything's a necessity. All the jobs are a necessity in the military. But at that time, it's like, oh, you can't compare me to a tanker. You can't compare me to a petroleum specialist. You can't, like, fuck you, man. I'm a goddamn Army Ranger, right? And so, yeah, man, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to be a civilian yet. I wasn't transitioned yet. I was still filled with piss and vinegar, and I hated everybody that didn't understand where I came from. It was tough.
And how did you cope with that, like going forward? And not only that, but how did workers treat you once you did get jobs? Like how did your coworkers treat you?
Initially, a lot of people, it's respected, man. I mean, I went there. I always had my shirt ironed, my pants, my boots shined. So I always presented myself in this professional manner. some might think I was a kiss ass or whatnot, but I always did my job as best I could, and I've always been able to get along with everyone. You know what I mean? So it was pretty easy on that. But I had problems getting into the Border Patrol. I had guys that was like, well, today, like my field training officer. When I first got there, the guy was giving me shit because he heard about my military background, which I don't know why anyone felt the need to tell him this shit. And so I showed up there already with this fucking stigma that I'm a know-it-all. And I was like, dude, I've never done that for anyone. I've never been this fucking know-it-all. But this guy felt that I was going to do it. So maybe his insecurities, fucking took that. But he took the first day he saw me, he goes, "Good morning, Mr. Vargas. I hear that you were in the military. Well, today I am your NCO." And I was like, what the fuck does that even mean, dude? Like,
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, so I think he had a lot of insecurity about me, and he was giving me shit the whole time, and it was hell, man. Like, it was hell at first because I felt like he just took me the wrong way, thinking that I was going to be a very egotistical fucking asshole, and it was the other way around. Like, I don't know the job of Border Patrol agent, man. I'm there to learn, dude. And so that made me really, really uncomfortable with there. And I was like, fuck, man. It kind of stirred the pot again, where it's like, man, like, these guys don't get it. Like, I'm willing to learn. I'm here to fucking, I don't care what my past is anymore. I really just want to be good now. And this guy made it hard. He made it difficult, man. And eventually I got through all that, and I didn't let my anger get the best of me, and I kept my mouth shut when he said comments, and eventually I was able to prove myself where he respected me, man. And so it just came with, I just had to keep my mouth shut and do my job.
And in the Border Patrol, let me ask you this. Like, did you feel the same closeness you had with your unit when you were overseas? What was the bond like in the Border Patrol? Because I heard it's pretty close. It's a pretty close-knit group as well.
Yeah, it's very similar, man. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I have some of my good friends now. I mean, we've had some cool little things go down in the Border Patrol, whether we're jumping dope or jumping groups. And when I got to the special operations side of things, it was very similar, man. The characteristics, of a special operations unit seemed to be very similar, where the cohesiveness is a lot closer. You got a little bit more, dangerous missions. Nothing in comparison to what we did in Ranger Battalion, you know what I mean? Nothing with the threat levels of what you did in the military. But there's still high threat situations, and so you do end up being real close with some of these guys. And, and I'm not going to lie to you, dude, like, as close as I was with some of these guys in the Border Patrol and some of these teams, and still am, I think in comparison, I think maybe just because the threat level was that much higher and war's a little bit different, I'm still closer, and I guess I kind of relate a little bit more with my military buddies that I've, we've kicked in doors and seen dudes get blown up and whatnot. But, man, I do have really good friends from the Border Patrol that we've had some cool missions, and they'll be lifelong friends, man. But there's a lot of similarities there, man. There's a lot of similarities.
And were you sad leaving the Border Patrol?
Yeah, but I was ready, man. Like people that don't know, man, I was actually on the team that shot Mats, the two escaped convicts in New York. That was actually the mission that my team was on. And now, again, let me go back if no one knows that I was on a Borstar team. I was a medic attached to BORTAC. I was not BORTAC, but I was attached to the BORTAC team. They treated me like one of the boys. I would kick in the doors just with any of them. I was on the missions just like if I was a shooter. But I'm their medic. And so that being said, we get activated to go chase down these dudes. We get activated, I think, 4 days late. So by the time we get there, and something that's specialty of the Border Patrol, we do good at tracking dudes, tracking people, that we got there, and the whole place was just stomped on, man. So it was hard to really track anyone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we couldn't use our dogs. We couldn't use track sign. It was difficult. So then we had to rely on intel. And so every little call we had, we're ramping up, and we're going, man, we're fast roping into schools. We're fast roping into freaking like fucking little islands. We're doing all kinds of water ops, everything just to try and track these dudes down. And the day before they actually captured him or shot him, it was when my daughter's birthday was coming up, and I asked my supervisor, I was like, man, my family's been becoming more and more important to me nowadays, after a lot of things that's happened. And so I told him, hey, let me fly home for my daughter's birthday, man. I don't want to miss this one. I missed my son's birthday just recently because I was doing another mission. And then as soon as it's done, I'll fly right back. He's like, all right, dude, let's do it. And that's the cool thing about the Border Patrol. They really understood, or at least this team, this supervisor, really understood what it was like, that I was trying to be, there for my family as much as possible. And we were already going on 9 days with nothing. So I flew back and got to really enjoy my daughter's birthday. We had a luau, and it was a great time. And then, boom, I get the call that my boy took the shot, you know what I mean? And he actually took out Matt's. And, man.
Wow,
Yeah.
no kidding.
Yeah, dude. And so it was heartbreaking as hell for one, as a medic, to not be there for your guys when a situation like that goes down. It really ate me up. But at the same time, man, I knew that my heart wasn't in it anymore, man. And the worst thing is to have a medic that's kind of half-assed on the job. What a scary thing that would be. And so that's when I decided to resign, man. My heart was more focused towards Article 15 and the family, and I didn't want to give my guys a half-assed medic, man. So I resigned the next week.
Holy shit, that's crazy. What would you say that's your craziest story out of working in the Border Patrol?
No, man, we've had some cool ones, dude. I mean, I don't know. There's really nothing classified, but I mean, I've done an op when I was a regular agent. Me and my buddy were laid up, and there was a truck that went loaded up. I called it out on the radio, and it's a well-known load-up site, so that's kind of why I laid up in the area. And laid up means I'm just pretty much in a hide.
Sure.
And so I had good visuals on the location where they pick up. My binos with me, and I was able to identify the vehicle. I was able to identify the road that they were driving down. And I was able to just, dismount my location and run towards the vehicle so I can hopefully block it if it turned around. In this case, it actually did. And when he did that, he hit the Border Patrol agent chasing him head on, reversed it, hit him again, and then started going fucking 50 to 100 miles directly straight at me, he was probably about 100 meters away as he's fucking stepping on the accelerator. And so
You're kidding me.
I swear to you. So I'm in the middle of the road, and I'm starting to kind of pie off my position off the road slightly, but I knew I was going to take the shot if he kept coming towards me. I think as he identified that I was in the middle of the road and I had, my AR pointed directly at him. And, I mean, I had my whole rig, so I was ready to go to town, and there was a ditch, so I was thinking, all right, man, I'm going to fire off some rounds, hit the driver, hit the passenger, and then I'm going to go ahead and duck and hopefully fall into the ditch and not get hit by this fucking car. Right as I was ready to freaking shoot this dude, they dump out of the car, rolling, fucking tumbling and shit. The car fucking goes into the ditch. One of them's a female. She starts running. My buddy tackles him. The guy in the car, he slams on the brakes. He gets her. He tackles her. I tackle the dude. It ends up being about 800 pounds of dope. And the female at the time was actually one of the best, like the biggest freaking smuggling females. And turns out that she was, 17 years old. And
Shut the fuck
and
up.
running dope up and down this fucking border like crazy. But in the end, we caught her finally. And dude, cool story is about 2 months before, we chased this girl down. She dumps her vehicle into the fucking Rio Grande River, breaks her fucking arm, and fucking swims one-armed across the fucking street, across the fucking way to Mexico, and gets away. So we were like, dude, who is this fucking girl? Come to find out, some 17-year-old fucking girl, dude. She fucking dumps out of her ride like a fucking G, dude. Crazy.
No way.
Yeah,
and so like to a normal person who's never, I don't know anything about Border Patrol except for what you see on TV. Do they give you guys bonuses for like huge busts like that,
no, man.
Like the more danger you're in?
No, I mean there's they identify some good missions, good things that happen here and there sometimes, but not necessarily. Like, if you see something at a checkpoint that they catch all like 50,000 pounds of fucking dope, yeah, you're going to see it on the, the interwebs when it comes to the Border Patrol freaking but nothing really significant. And no one really gets, mentions for and any kind of awards for that kind of crap unless...
And you don't get bonuses or anything financial?
It's not made. There's no bonus like that. At the end of the year, you might get a bonus for just being good at your job, but there's nothing really of significance. I'd say more if like on the rescue units or board tack or board start, if they do a significant mission and potentially save guys or something that's huge, you might see someone receive an award for something like that.
Holy shit! So the money would have to be sick in order for one to do that job, because it sounds just as dangerous as being in the military. Is the money good?
The money's good, man. And again, I would never say it's as dangerous as being in the military. I think in the military, there's IEDs, man. There's people getting shot. There's shooting at. There's very few altercations on the border where there are causes for engagement. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying it's not as prevalent as it would be in the overseas. The reality behind it is, we're doing the best we can on the border. It's a fucking cat and mouse game. It's a human playing fucking brain games with another human. They're trying to get dope across. We're trying to stop the dope. They get enough across that they're happy. We catch enough that we're happy. Kind of both sides are happy, which is how fucked up it sounds. It's the reality of it, man. We're trying to catch everything we can, but we're not catching everything we can. And at the same time, if they start fucking shooting at us, well, then we're going to ramp up our security, whether we have to freaking bring in the fucking National Guard. That'll change the game for them, and they don't want to do that either. So right now, it kind of seems like we're kind of operating on an even keel where they're happy, we're happy, we're doing our best to stop them, they're doing their best to fucking trick us, and it's kind of rolling that way. Once something does happen where a border agent gets engaged, and it happened while I was in the academy. it changes the game for them because we ramp up our security on that border, and now they can't really get across what they normally could. So they're trying to keep, you know what I mean? So they're not trying to raise the threat levels very much, which is smart and it's safe for us, I guess. I don't know. Hard to say.
So how do you go? How do you go from Border Patrol then to Article 15? Like,
dude, coincidence, man.
Were you friends with Jared?
No,
you were
man.
friends with Matt?
So
I know you guys were.
Yeah, me and Matt were in Ranger Battalion together. Like I said, I was married at the time when we were in Ranger Battalion, so he would come over to watch UFC fights, and then they'd go out after. So we were privates together, and then eventually I got my tab, and then eventually he got his tab, and, we're both tabbed together. So we're in the unit together. We're in the same squad at one point, doing our thing. And then we contacted each other randomly throughout the time when he was working for other businesses, and I was trying to help him out for other things. And then by coincidence, I get sent to fucking El Paso, dude. And I already see the videos that he's going. He already had How to Be an Operator at that time, man. And I'm telling him, like, dude, the videos are dope, good shot.
And he was living in El Paso at the time?
No, man, he was living in Colorado at the time, dude. And so he was traveling to El Paso to see Jared because Jared, they reached out to each other on Facebook. And I've heard everyone's heard that story where they just kind of communicated through that. He'd come down from time to time to work with Jared. At the same time, they're filming the first commercial for Article 15 clothing. I was there doing a Beers with Best, and I was hanging out with Matt, drinking beers. That's the first time we actually reconnected in a while. He was like, hey, man, the company's doing good. And I was like, hey, if you need help with anything, he was like, actually, it'd be cool to come meet Jared, and you guys are close, and if we need anything, we can hit you up. So eventually they had me put on one of their shirts, and they took some pictures. They put it online. And then from there, it's kind of like Matt was busy doing his thing, so I was helping out with whether it was answering emails and blah, 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 and just working my ass off, I guess. I don't know, whatever reason they decided to, they brought me on board, which, dude, I'm telling you, it was the biggest blessing of my entire life.
Yeah, and how did they name you Rocco?
So one of the first days that Matt came back from one of his jobs, we decided to go out. We got a limo, and I've just always kind of been the father figure, kind of mentality, and so I was kind of making sure everyone got in safely, everyone left safely, everyone, Matt didn't drink too much, JT was safe, no one was starting fights, and I'm just kind of like the bouncer of the group, mediating the fun, making sure everyone's good, making sure everyone gets in.
Right.
And so he was like, man, you were like a bouncer last night, you were like Rocco the bouncer, and then fucking stuck, dude. They posted a picture on Instagram, and I wasn't getting away from that nickname, dude. Dude, I want to take this moment, Ross, if you don't mind, man. I would honestly tell these guys, man, like, I've never told them to their face. I've never said anything. But Article 15 itself, man, there's all these people that reach out to us, and they tell us, like, how much Article 15 has saved them or has helped them. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. Article 15 has saved me. You know what I mean? Like, realistically, like, to be a part of a group again that I associate with, be a part of, be able to drink with Matt and just bullshit with another Ranger, it saved me in itself, man. I was in one of the best positions of my life with the Border Patrol. I had the job that I dreamed about and wished I would actually do, and I got there. And there was still something empty in me, man. I was still I wasn't full, you know what I mean? I wasn't completely happy with where I got, and I wasn't sure what the next step was. And so when Article 15 came and I was able to help them and just do it really brought something to me in life again, man. And I was able to really be myself, and I was able to find my sense of humor again. Because for a long time, man, I was down on my luck, and I was my insecurities got the best of me, and dude, I had low self-esteem about just me as a person, man. And so being able to be a part of this team again, and man, to be able to be part of the creative side of it. And so Article 15 itself, man, I'd love to give a thanks to just Jared, Matt, Cody, Brad, and Zach, and tell you guys, man, from the bottom of my heart, you guys have saved me as well, and I appreciate everything you guys have done for me and my family. And, dude, I just want to ride this motherfucker out, man. I'm staying on this boat until this fucking floats, man, until this thing fucking sinks, dude.
Well, look, I mean, did you ever envision that you'd have a movie coming out one day? You've got your own whiskey company. I mean, it's pretty crazy from where you came from, what you did, and where you are now. It's a pretty big leap, right?
Yeah, dude. It's a day and night difference. Dude, I've never in my life would I expect to be in the position I am, dude. Never. And, dude, trust me, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? And so I try and do everything I can that I can give back because I feel like it's been given to me. You know what I mean? And so that's why you see me try and do, the public speaking, and I try and go out of my way for anyone I can, dude, because seriously, I understand how much this community that we've created as well as established, it's saving dudes, and it's, like I said, as much as it's helped me, it's helping others. And so whatever I can do to reach out and help others, man, I definitely try and go out of my way for it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that everybody loves about you, and your persona and who you are online, you put a lot of focus on your family. I see a lot of videos and a lot of pictures of you with your kids, going for ice cream, taking them to practice. I mean, you guys do, you and your kids, your family do everything together, and that's inspiring to see.
I appreciate it,
man. Yeah, I guess, were you close? Were you that close with your dad, and he passed along those values, or was that's something that you saw on your own later on in life?
No, man.
I know you.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I know you. You had briefly touched on it when I got to see you speak, but I think the rest of the world would be curious in hearing it, because one of the things I hear most often about you is, gosh, not only does he seem like a great guy, but he seems like a great dad. And I think that's one of the biggest compliments I hear about you all the time out in public.
Yeah.
So if you could talk about that, where did that come from, and why it means so much to you?
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, I was lucky enough to be raised by some awesome people with some humble backgrounds, dude. And they tell us every day, they raise us. The family is such a huge thing for us growing up, man. I mean, we were the type of family that sat at the dinner table and ate together. We were yes, sir, yes, ma'am, please, thank you, manners. You know what I mean? I mean, we had a cool family, man. We were blessed to be a part of that. My mother and father, they stuck it out in their marriage, and they've been together this whole time, and they've really. They've kind of grounded us with this, morals and values that I try and stick to today, and it's been hard, man, because, I grew up different than my father, as my father, he was able to have a job where he was home, and when I chose the military route, it wasn't the same, man. In 4 years of active duty, I was probably home 14 months, and when I was home 14 months.
Holy shit.
Yeah, being home 14 months doesn't mean I was necessarily home. It just means I was in the United States of America. I was still
right. You weren't. Yeah. You could be sitting in your own living room, but you're still not home.
Right, and so I didn't.
Yeah.
I was so disconnected from family, and I didn't identify this until I went through my divorce, and I realized that all these years, I lived on this old school mentality of the father makes the money, and makes sure they have a roof over their head and food in their mouth, and clothes on their back, and that's good. The mother, she raises the kids, and I lived with that for so long, and identified later on in life, like, wow, man, like. How fucking wrong was I, dude? When I went through my divorce, man, I started trying to find ways to reconnect with my kids, but all those years I was so disconnected. Almost they didn't give a fuck about me. And as much as they do, right, they just really didn't know Dad. They didn't know who I was as a person. My kids don't know I'm funny, man. They didn't know that I actually gave a shit. They didn't know everything I did was for them, right? Everything in my mind, the only reason I work so fucking hard in my goddamn life is to make sure I can put them kids in a better position. But they don't know that, man, because they've never spent time with their own fucking dad, because his dad is spending all the goddamn time fucking doing work. And what I said in the seminar was exactly that. Like, I said yes to my fucking job every goddamn time they asked. And I said no to my fucking family 90% of the time every time they asked. And I don't know why I fucking did it, man. My mindset was so like, please my job, do good in my job, improve in my job, promote in my job. That's important in life. And I fucking completely forgot about family, man. And so that ate me up. And my divorce itself didn't eat me up so much that I lost a marriage of 10 years. That sucked, right? But what really sucks is, like, here's the one thing I know in life, man. Like, my wife is my wife, and she's gone. Cool. But you know who's mine forever, no matter fucking what? My fucking 4 kids. Like, that's mine forever. No one's going to take that shit from me. So those are the fucking 4 people in my life that I should pay the most attention to and actually really, really focus on trying to make the best fucking kids I possibly can. That relationship is the most important thing to me in this world. My current wife now knows that. She knows these kids are everything to us. And she wouldn't be my wife now if she didn't think the same. You know what I mean? Like, we had this,
right.
We're based on the same structures here. Like, these kids, everything I do in life is to be the best father and put them in the best position possible. But I can't do that by being gone either, because they need to know their dad. They need to know what their dad stands for. I need to be there to raise them. I need to be there to nurture them. I need to be there when they have the good times and the bad times. And if I base my life around being gone and just making sure they have money, like, they don't know their fucking dad, man. And so I fucked up, and I could say that, like, I fucked up early on in my life. And now that I've been given that second chance, man, I'm going to make the fucking best of it, dude. And so I do everything I can to say no to my work as much as possible and yes to my family as much as possible now. So I've kind of just turned the tide, man.
Yeah, and it's such a hard balance, isn't it?
Fuck.
Like, especially when things are going really well work-wise, it's more demanding of you.
Oh, dude.
People are asking you to do more stuff.
Yeah.
Trust
me,
because I
man.
know you.
I feel bad half the time when I tell the guys, like, "Hey, can you film tonight?" Like, no, man, I can't. The kid's got baseball. Like, I feel bad
Right.
because to me, being financial stable is just as important. You know what I mean? Because the stresses of dealing with money, financial issues is one of the most stressful things you're ever going to deal with when it comes to family, right? And so when I know the more I work, the more money I can make, dude, what a fucking struggle you got there. Because I want to be comfortable with finances, but I also want to be a fucking dad, dude. And so
I know.
how do you balance that?
I know.
You know, with making everyone happy, dude. It's hard. It's hard, but like I said, if it's not on your fucking mind, well, then you're wrong. It's got to be on your mind. You have to think about that shit every day, because at least if you're thinking about it, you can make a fucking solid decision on, okay, this one I'm taking, this one I'm not. You know what I mean? And that's all I can do, man. Trust me, I still miss a birthday here and there, right? I still miss I miss my daughter's wrestling fucking tournament. That was so important to me. But I knew I was going to be doing a transition seminar that potentially is going to be helping hundreds and thousands of possible veterans. Okay, I'm gonna weigh that out and say, you know what? I'm there in spirit, and I can FaceTime you later. But if I can help thousands of fucking soldiers, baby, I hope you understand that. You know what I mean? And that's,
Yeah.
you just got to find, man, like I said, I can't tell you I'm right, dude.
Find that balance.
Right, you got to find it, but I can't even tell you that I'm right. I'm just saying, I'm just trying, you know? At least I'm trying. Fuck.
I think that's everybody's biggest struggle in life, especially if you love your family and you're close to your kids like we are, where it's like, man, that balance between work and being there, like you being present in the room, you know, is the same thing. Where it's like because you have a rule where you turn the phone off, right?
Yeah. By about 8:30, dude. I don't care who it is. No one's getting a hold of me, dude. Because everybody in my house, everyone that's important is in that fucking house, dude. And like the guys know that as soon as I'm home, don't even try, bro. You better knock on the door if you're gonna try and get a hold of me, because I just shut it off, man. Because if I don't, I'm still not there, dude. Like I could be sitting on the couch and I'm not engaged with my family. My son could be talking to me. I'm still on my phone checking the emails for Art15, the emails for fucking Drinkin Bros, the emails for the Rocco page, the emails for fuck, dude. So it's like if you don't shut off, like even when you're home, you got to be home, dude. You got to be present. You got to be sitting there like actively engaging with your kids, or else you're still fucking worthless, dude. You still don't have the balance that you need to have, dude. So I identify that myself, and sometimes my wife has to put me on check and be like, "Hey, put that fucking phone down." Yes, ma'am. You're right. I got to put it down, dude. It's time to put it down.
Yeah, and because like I'm in a, you know, like with me, I'm in the final stages of Range 15. You know, it always comes down to the nth hour with everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's glued to me right now, and I feel like a shitty parent because of it. But on the flip side, dude, I know there's a gajillion people across the world that are waiting for this movie, and it's like it's all about that balance of like, all right, what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know, once this ends, it'll die down. And I say that now, but it won't. There's going to be a million screenings, and I think this movie will do really well. So things are only going to get crazier for everyone.
I know, man.
Scary
as shit, dude.
Yeah,
it's scary, dude. Like I said, dude, the times I have with them, I try and make them worth it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I know the next 3 months might be fucking crazy, dude, but I'm gonna do it.
And imagine it. Look, and imagine if you were The Rock, because I know you like The Rock.
Right.
I know you look up to The Rock, and I think you know your overall life dream. If you could be, you know, an actor in the vein of The Rock, that would probably in your mind right now, you know, be your life dream.
Yeah, dude.
But you know, when you saw what it was like, you know, just in Sundance and things like that, and all the Hollywood meetings and all the things you have to do throughout the day. You see it could take you away from your family.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, it would.
I don't need, dude. Trust me, like, you don't. That's a fear, dude. That's a fear that even if like the fear is being successful. You know, like if you're that successful, now what? What you know what I mean? How do I fucking balance that, motherfucker, dude? Trust
I know.
I've thought about it. You know, trust me. I've already thought about plan A through fucking F and then fucking A squared. Fucking, you know what I mean? And I think about, am I gonna put my family in a goddamn fucking in a bus? You know, are we gonna live in a fucking, you know, a motorhome if that's what I have to do? But like, dude, what kind of quality of life is that for the kids? You know what I mean? So it's like, fuck, dude. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, do I hope it gets very successful for the good of the family? Yes, man. Because, dude, I can put my family in a position where they've been better than me, and just there you go. When Daddy dies, you know, I've handed you the torch. Do what the hell you can with that motherfucker, right? But at the same time,
and here's a ton of money, and that's the other side of it.
Right.
Yeah, where you look at it like that.
Yeah, so it's scary as shit, dude. Trust me. You don't think every day it's a fucking stress on my fucking head, dude. I'm thinking like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, because I mean, look, we all have a lot going on. Again, you have a whiskey, you have coffee, you have the clothing. Now you're gonna have a movie. We have this podcast that's huge. It's a lot, like, because people think we party all the time, and it's like, oh,
No, man.
Rocco must be partying again with the R15 crew, and it's not the case. Like, it's a lot of work. Yeah, there's a bunch of fun times.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work to do this many things and be good at it.
I know.
And
man.
again, now you're adding public speaking to the mix, because I have a feeling after I saw you speak here in Wilmington, I have a feeling people are going to start booking you out for that, and
Damn.
that's a lot of travel. You know,
Yeah, dude.
like that's a lot of travel on the road as well. So
You know, the thing with that though, man, if my life experiences, and dude, I don't think there's guys that have way more life experiences than I have, you know what I mean? But if my little life experiences are able to help others, dude, and people want to hear me say, I don't give a shit, dude, I would love to. For me, that's like, that for me was so rewarding, dude. That was a lifelong dream, man. I've thought about that moment of being on stage and just telling people my story, and hopefully it's able to help others, dude. And I've gotten some feedback, man, that brought me to tears. Like, wow, dude, no way. Like, my stupid little story, right? Because I don't think it's a story, right? My fucking life, and everyone has stuff. Like one of the speakers said, like, everyone has stuff. Like, my stuff was influential enough to fucking motivate someone today. That messaged me like, you've motivated me. From the moment you finished talking, I've been motivated still to today. God damn, are you kidding me, man? Like, you know what an honor that feels like? That's amazing, and that's pressure too. You know what I mean? But if that's what it does, man, for my veteran community, dude, then dude, sign me up. I'll speak anywhere, dude. I don't give a fuck, dude. If it helps people transition, if it helps people learning from my mistakes, like learn from daddy's mistakes, dude. You know what I mean? Like, go on with the world and don't do the same stupid shit that I did. Fuck, dude. I'll do that all goddamn day, bro. For me, that's more important. That's if you don't wake up every day in your fucking life trying to fucking help others, then what the fuck are you waking up for, man? And that for me is how I believe my life. That's what I want to do.
yeah, and look, you're great at it, and people love you, man. They really do. So I'm really amped. We got a chance to sit down, the two of us, and talk tonight. I think all our listeners will hopefully get to have a better insight on who you are, not only as a person but as a father and a husband. And you're a great guy, Vincent. And I'm lucky to know you.
I appreciate it, man.
So cheers, my man.
Cheers.
And cheers. And on that note, we have the Drinking Bro of the Week.
Yeah.
The Drinkin' Bro of the Week is a guy named Dylan David. He is from the Willow Park Fire Department.
Hell yeah.
He lost his legs 2 years. He lost one leg 2 years ago, and he now has finally started back to work at the fire department. And his buddy Spencer Parker sent that in to the Drinkin' Bros podcast Facebook page, and we love hearing stories like this. He sent us some pictures of Dylan at the fire station, and man, seeing stuff like this and the fact that you guys listen to our show at the firehouse means the world to us. And to Dylan David, welcome back to work. Welcome back to the fire department.
Oh, yeah, brother.
And
great shit. That's awesome.
And to you and your buddy Spencer Parker, cheers.
Cheers,
cheers,
baby.
man.
Cheers.
Thanks for writing in, and thanks for listening to the show. And on that note, for Vincent Vargas, I'm not even going to say Rocco, because we got to know about Vincent Vargas, the man, tonight, and Ross Patterson. We are out of here. We will see you next time, everyone.